The sleek black Audi purred to a stop across from the monolithic First City Bank building. Midnight. Not a soul stirred on the rain-slicked streets.
You on schedule?
Like clockwork.
Alex adjusted the earpiece, Jamie's voice crackling to life. His eyes scanned the building's darkened facade, a ghost from his past. He'd once sworn to protect places like this. Now he was about to betray that oath. But some lines, he realized, were meant to be crossed, especially when the truth lay locked behind vaults of steel and deceit. Alex stepped out, the chill air biting through his dark jacket. He felt the familiar weight of the duffel bag slung over his shoulder. Tools of the trade. His heart pounded a steady rhythm against his ribs. Not from fear, from anticipation. He was walking a tightrope, balancing his past against his present. And tonight, the only safety net was his resolve. He took a deep breath, the metallic tang of rain mixing with the exhaust fumes. Time to find out if he was still the man he used to be, or if he was becoming someone else entirely. Jamie's voice was a steady presence in his ear.
Security feed's down. You've got 10 minutes.
10 minutes, a lifetime in this line of work, enough to rewrite the ending of a carefully crafted story. The bank's lobby was a cavernous space, the silence amplified by the echo of Alex's footsteps. He moved like a phantom, his steps sure and silent. Years on the force had honed his instincts, sharpened his senses. He knew every blind spot, every creak, every telltale sign. The vault, his destination, a steel behemoth guarding its secrets. Alex's gaze swept over the security cameras, now dark and lifeless. Jamie's doing. He was the unseen hand, guiding Alex through the labyrinth.
Motion sensors are offline, but stay frosty. Backup systems are probably hardwired.
Alex nodded, his eyes adjusting to the dim light filtering in from the street lamps outside. He was dancing with shadows, a game of cat and mouse played in the dead of night, and the stakes had never been higher. The vault door loomed before him, a testament to man's faith in cold, hard steel. A cruel irony, given the nature of the secrets it held. Alex unzipped the duffel bag, the metallic clink of tools echoing in the silence. He worked swiftly, his fingers nimble and precise. The tumblers clicked, the lock protesting with a groan. Years of studying blueprints, memorizing schematics, anticipating every possible countermeasure. This was the moment of truth.
Pressure plate on the other side. One wrong step and it triggers a silent alarm.
Alex took a deep breath, his focus absolute. He could practically hear the seconds ticking by. He imagined the faces of the men he was up against, the smug CEO, the corrupt board members, their greed fueling this midnight dance. With a final click, the vault door swung open, revealing rows upon rows of safety deposit boxes. The air hung heavy with the scent of stale money and forgotten secrets. This wasn't about riches, it was about exposing the rot that lay hidden beneath layers of wealth and power. A flicker of movement near the entrance. Alex froze, his hand instinctively reaching for the weapon holstered at his hip. A security guard, his face obscured by the shadows, was making his rounds.
Unforeseen company, he's early.
Alex cursed under his breath. Improvisation was the name of the game. He retreated into the vault, the heavy door closing with a soft thud. The guard's footsteps echoed in the silence, getting closer. Alex scanned the vault, his mind racing. He needed a diversion, a way to buy himself some time. His eyes fell on a fire extinguisher mounted on the wall. A desperate plan formed in his mind. He grabbed the extinguisher and yanked the pin, aiming it at the security cameras overlooking the vault entrance. The red spray hissed, engulfing the cameras in a chemical fog.
Cameras are blinded. You have maybe 2 minutes before they realize what's up.
2 minutes, an eternity. Alex worked quickly, his fingers flying across the keypad of his custom-built device. He only needed one specific box, the one containing the evidence, the key to unraveling the entire conspiracy.
Almost there, just a few more firewalls.
Alex could feel the sweat trickling down his spine. He could almost taste the victory, so close yet so far. The guard would be raising the alarm soon. He needed to be gone. The device beeped, a green light flashing. He had it. The files containing years of dirty secrets, of corporate espionage, of lives ruined in the pursuit of profit. Alex downloaded the files onto an encrypted drive, the seconds ticking by like bombs. He was running out of time. A voice boomed from the entrance, cold and menacing.
Come out with your hands up. You're surrounded.
Alex cursed. They had sent in reinforcements. He was trapped. He peeked through the slight opening of the vault door. 3 figures stood outside, their outlines illuminated by the flashing red lights. He recognized the burly silhouette in the middle. Victor, the CEO's personal attack dog. Victor stepped forward, his voice dripping with malice.
You picked the wrong company to mess with, Alex. Now step away from the vault and nobody gets hurt.
Alex knew he couldn't fight his way out of this one. Not without risking everything. He needed a different approach, one that played on Victor's greed. He held up the encrypted drive, a glint of steel catching the light.
I have something you wouldn't want to lose, Victor. Something that could bring this whole corporation crashing down.
Victor's eyes narrowed, his gaze flickering with uncertainty. He glanced at his men, a silent conversation passing between them. Alex knew he had him. Greed was a powerful motivator.
What are you talking about?
Victor growled, his hand hovering near his holster.
This drive, it contains proof of your little schemes, Victor. Embezzlement, fraud, you name it. Enough to put you away for a long time.
He could see the wheels turning in Victor's head, the internal struggle between greed and self-preservation.
Let me see it.
Victor demanded, taking a step closer. Alex shook his head.
Not a chance. You lay a finger on me and this drive goes public. Every news outlet, every whistleblower platform, they'll all have a copy.
A tense silence hung in the air, punctuated by the distant wail of approaching sirens. Time was running out. Alex knew he had pushed Victor to the edge.
You're bluffing.
Victor spat, but there was a flicker of doubt in his eyes. Alex smiled coldly.
Try me. You think those sirens are for me? Think again, Victor. Someone tipped them off about your little operation. They're coming for you.
He could see the realization dawning on Victor's face, the color draining from his cheeks. The sirens were getting closer, their piercing wail echoing through the empty streets.
You win this round, Alex, but this isn't over.
He barked an order at his men, and they melted back into the shadows, disappearing through a side exit. Alex allowed himself a small sigh of relief. He had won this round. But the fight was far from over. Alex slipped out of the bank, melting into the darkness, just as the first police cars screeched to a halt outside. He could hear the shouts of the officers, the barking of dogs, but he was already gone. He sprinted through the maze of back alleys, his lungs burning, his heart pounding a staccato rhythm against his ribs. He could hear the distant thud of a helicopter overhead, its searchlight cutting through the darkness.
You clear?
Jamie's voice crackled in his ear.
For now, I'm heading for the rendezvous point.
He ducked into a narrow alleyway, the stench of garbage and stale urine assaulting his nostrils. He could hear the footsteps of the pursuing officers, their shadows stretching towards him like grasping claws. He had to disappear, to become invisible. He had done what he set out to do. The evidence was safe. Now it was time to vanish into the night. The first rays of dawn painted the sky in hues of orange and purple as Alex reached his safe house, a nondescript apartment building miles away from the chaos he had left behind. He collapsed onto the worn couch, his body trembling with exhaustion. He had done it. He had exposed the truth, brought down a corrupt corporation from the inside. But it had come at a price. He was a fugitive now, living in the shadows. He took a deep breath, the metallic tang of adrenaline fading, replaced by the bitter aftertaste of victory. He knew this was only the beginning. The fight for justice was a marathon, not a sprint. He glanced at the encrypted drive clutched tightly in his hand. It contained the hopes and dreams of countless people whose lives had been shattered by the greed of a few. He wouldn't let them down. The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a golden glow across the city. A new day was dawning, and Alex, the shadow warrior, was ready to face it one bite at a time.